Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. Welcome to the Yaqeen Halal halftime show. I'm here with my guest, Hussein Abdullah, former Minnesota Vikings, Kansas City Chiefs.
I mean, you're a guest, but you're in my house, so.
Well, okay, fine. Whatever. It's all the same thing. Anyway, so we've got an exciting little intervention for you. I promise you that what we're going to talk about is more interesting than what Justin Timberlake and if they got a Prince hologram or whatever it is, not to make anyone curious. Whatever they're going to do. So we're going to do a few things, inshallah. We're going to get some insider tips from Hussein and from Ryan Harris, who's actually out there in Minnesota. And you were with him a few days ago, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Me and Ryan was chilling. It's super cold, man. I had to get up out of there. That's why I didn't live out there. So it's cold,
and the weather is really nice out here.
It's beautiful.
We were just shooting hoops. I'm not gonna say who won the game of horse, but Hussein won the first one. Second one was pig. So, I'm not gonna say anyone won pig because that's just haram. We're in the halal halftime show, so we're gonna stick to that. All right. So a few things. Number one, alhamdulillah, you were a Muslim in the NFL, and you're still a Muslim, alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah, good. That's good to know. So you experienced what it's like to be in that locker room and to be in a sometimes hostile environment. You know, what's it like being a Muslim in the NFL?
Yeah, so I mean, number one, there's not many of us. So there's really no one to go towards who you're gonna look someone who believes in what you believe or pray the way you pray. So what you do is you find people who have similarities. Like you find people who are striving to be upright. Some of my best friends, Eric Frampton, he's Christian. Quentin Demps, Christian. Asher Allen, Jehovah's Witness. Mike DeVito, he played D tackle. The guy's like a theologian. And you start flocking towards those people because they'll make sure they know that you're striving to be upright, and they'll, you know, and whenever if you have a moment of weakness or anything like that, they'll be able to help reel you back in. So those are the kind of people that I flock towards. Then of course, you know, I would connect with other Muslims across the league, but when you're in that locker room on an everyday basis, you need somebody right then and there.
Anybody ever call you Saddam Hussein? Was that like a joke at any point?
You know, that used to be a joke when I was younger, and that's what I used to get in all my fights over. It was either, all of my fights when I was younger either came from basketball or somebody calling me Saddam. And in all seriousness, there was an incident in the Vikings locker room where a guy was joking around, and then he just said something Saddam, and I just said, hey, we don't go there. There's a place to go, but not there. And then he recognized the seriousness and was just like, all right, I got it.
Okay, cool. So what was the most awkward moment or teaching moment as a Muslim where you had to educate someone about Islam?
Okay, there was quite a few teaching moments, but there's one in particular where I didn't really have to do the teaching. My agent did it for me. So my agent's name is CJ. So CJ's talking with a member of the Vikings front office. I'm not going to say who. And everything was going good. They're kind of in contract talks and all this stuff. And then he says, CJ, can you tell Hussein to stop hanging around that guy? And he's like, what guy? You know, Hussein goes to work, he goes home, he doesn't really do much. He said, CJ, can you tell Hussein to stop hanging around this Ramadan guy? And then CJ's like, well, he said, yeah, this Ramadan guy got Hussein, he's tired, he looks thirsty. And then CJ just fell out laughing, and he's like, no, man. He's like, Ramadan is a month where Muslims fast, and he had to explain the whole, you know, give him the whole 9 yards. So, I mean, there are some people who, they're just like ignorant to what we do, not in a negative way, they just don't know, you know what I mean?
So what are you going to do? You know, there's a hadith that you meet Ramadan on the day of judgment.
Yeah.
Fasting comes in the form of a person.
I mean, we're gonna.
Says it was me.
So when I meet him, I mean, it's gonna be all love, and I'm gonna be like, I mean, I'm gonna tell him like, hey man, it was close. You almost got me cut, but more than likely he's gonna say, well, I'm the one who's helping you get to Jannah. So
there you go.
Inshallah.
All right, so let's talk some football. Number one, what was it like playing with Brett Favre?
Brett. I mean, at that time, I was a special teams guy, so it's not like our interaction was a lot, although I was on scout team, and I used to get super gassed up when I picked them up. No lie. One of our scout team safeties actually kept the ball, was like, Brett, can you sign this? I didn't go that far, but I had fun competing against him.
Yeah, well, you also obviously have that pick six on Tom Brady.
Yeah,
Monday Night Football.
we got it right there.
Yeah, you got. Well, I can't show you guys, but actually,
We'll show you at the end.
I'll show you at the end. That's right. I'll point the camera at the end. But doing the sujood on Monday Night Football, that was alhamdulillah. By the way, I take full credit for that because you realize there were 2 years in Hajj, and you had two. No, hold on, just listen to me. You had the interceptions on Andrew Luck, and we were in Hajj, and I was making dua for you, and you intercepted. Just wake up, man. You intercepted Tom Brady while I was in Arafah. So I saw the highlights in Muzdalifah of you intercepting Tom Brady, and I took credit for that. Because you wouldn't have, that whole thing wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for my dua. And I mean, you saw my duas last year during the Super Bowl.
So what about my duas? I made dua. I prepared. I studied. I worked out. I caught the ball.
But it's not dua at all.
I ran.
Let's be real here.
But in reality, there's a lot of people who make dua and they root for you, and you have no idea, who's having that influence or who's, assisting you. So
I mean, I guess you're all right at football too.
On the day of judgment, I think Allah will be able to trace and say, this is why this is happening.
Okay, fine.
You know what I mean?
But anyway, we're really proud of you, alhamdulillah, as a community. That was a big. Did you plan to make sujood to prostrate if you intercepted Tom Brady?
You know what? I knew, going into the week, I was having a conversation with Eric Berry and Justin Houston, and they were just talking about speaking everything into existence. Like, always talk positive and say, it's going to happen, it's going to happen. So for me, I knew I was going to score a touchdown. I didn't know how. I didn't know if it was going to be a fumble or interception. I knew I was going to score a touchdown, and I knew I wanted to make sujood. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I actually was practicing in my apartment. How I was going to do it, I had no idea how I was going to do it. But when I got the interception, I was like, okay, it's time to go. And then when I hit the end zone, I got down there with a little bit of style.
That was pretty. I mean, you did like a good sujood too. I'm seeing from a sunnah perspective.
Yeah,
I think your knees are properly placed.
MashaAllah.
You had everything. I don't know if your nose was touching the ground.
My mother taught me well, so may Allah have mercy on her.
So MashaAllah, you did well. So who do you want to win tonight? Eagles or Patriots? Who do you think?
I'm gonna be honest. I haven't watched much football this year. There's a lot going on, so I really checked out. The only one game I watched was just to see if the Vikings were gonna make it to the Super Bowl, just because that's where I played. But I haven't really watched much football, so I mean, I would just tell if you're out there, just enjoy it. Tom Brady, whether you love him or hate him, appreciate greatness and what they're doing in New England. And then a lot of my former coaches that are on the Eagles used to be on the Chiefs. So I'm not going to pick. Just enjoy the game if you're watching.
All right. Well, when I went to Qabila Zamzam in Boston some time ago, this was about, 5 years ago?
How'd you get that in the house?
And they gave
How come
me
nobody
in
stopped
Boston.
this man at the door and patted him down?
In Boston.
See,
you guys
this is when we should have one of them random TSA checks. Get this up out of here.
I think one of your daughters, Baraka patted down at the door, but she missed it. So anyway, Boston, they gave me this Tom Brady jersey. And Ryan, who we're going to turn to in a minute, mashallah, the Broncos beat the Patriots that year, and we were rooting for them. So I've never worn this jersey, and here's the proof that the tag is still on the jersey. It's about 5 years old. And I have to admit, I'm just not a Trump fan, so I'm not rooting for the Patriots. I'm hoping the Eagles pull it out. I'm kind of tired of this whole Robert Kraft and Tom Brady thing. So no offense to all the Pats fans out there, but they've taken it a little bit too far. And plus, Malcolm Jenkins came to New Orleans first, so Malcolm Jenkins is obviously used his platform. We hope he continues to use it and to amplify those voices more, but used it in a good way. So sorry, I'm going with the Eagles. I'm hoping the Eagles pull it out at the end of the day. But maybe Malcolm Jenkins will pick him off and do sujood.
I don't know.
You never know. You never know.
Watch and see.
So one thing though I do appreciate about the Eagles, they beat the Vikings. And the Vikings, I know you got your jersey up there and everything like that, but
the one game I watch all year, and he's saying he appreciates that.
Because if that Minnesota miracle would have continued, and it would have been a big deal if the Vikings won the
Well, what an introduction that was. I am Ryan Harris, champion Super Bowl 50, Vikings fan extraordinaire. But you know what, Sheikh Omar, man, at least you're consistent. You wanted for your brother what you experienced yourself, and that is a loss in the playoffs. So yes, the Philadelphia Eagles are here right now, and they are going to be in the Super Bowl, and I'm really pulling for them. I'm really pulling for them to win, because I think if the Eagles win, it's a win for change. You look at what Malcolm Jenkins and Chris Long have been doing. Malcolm Jenkins taking a stand and really creating the social coalition that the NFL put together. Over $90 million will be invested in grants and social initiatives, as well as a buy-in by the NFL to what the players are doing, as well as using the platforms and merchandise partnerships to really create change. You saw that at the Super Bowl 52 this week. They announced Russell Wilson and others will be participating with Microsoft in their Create Change initiative. So I really think that between what the players on the Eagles team have done, Chris Long donating his entire salary to charity this year, it's hard not to pull for them. But I'm happy to be here with you guys. Happy Super Bowl Sunday. It's the most wonderful time of the year. I've got amazing memories, and I'm so grateful to Allah that I was able to win a Super Bowl. It was just the most amazing thing for me. And Allah is the best of planners. You know, you look at my career, I failed. I didn't win a championship for 16 years until I won with the Denver Broncos in Super Bowl 50. And alhamdulillah, I did so after having 3 back surgeries, 1 toe surgery, and some other issues physically. So I was very fortunate. I was fortunate to be both Hamza and Hussein's teammate. I can tell you which one's the better teammate and which one's the better person at another time. But right now, I just want to take the opportunity to talk a little bit about balancing faith and family and football. And if it's not football for you, maybe it's academics or studies. But for me, I think when it comes to faith, Allah has always been with me. I really felt that. And Islam has taught me, and Hussein and I were talking about it here at the Super Bowl. You know, it really taught me a lot of self-restraint. Islam has taught me so many things, and one of the things I'm most grateful for is self-restraint. And I love the term self-restraint because it recognizes that we are moving towards something, right? You have to restrain yourself. You have to kind of pull yourself back because you're leaning forward. So I think that even Allah knows there's a natural tendency to lean towards things that may take us away from the deen, or lean towards people that may not be the best for us or may not make us feel the best. So I really think that as often as I can, I try and see where I can restrain myself. There's nothing that keeps me focused with faith is opportunity, right? How do you approach opportunity? And for me, I have the opportunity to make salah, so I'm grateful for that. For me, I have the opportunity to forgive somebody. For me, I have the opportunity to be kind to a stranger in need, or the traveler in need, to a person who is on tough times. So I really look for that as well. And I think a big piece, though, for me with faith, honestly, ladies and gentlemen, has been having a forgiving attitude, forgiving myself for my shortcomings. Especially as Muslims, we don't talk about our sins. So for me, being the only Muslim in my family, converting at 14, it was really, I had a tough time understanding that other Muslims struggled too. So when I did fall short, really being kind to myself and loving myself and saying, well, I love Allah, I know my love for Allah, inshallah, will bring me closer to the deen the next time, the next opportunity. So you really just be gentle on yourself. It's a journey. It is tough. You know, it's not as tough as the first Muslims had it, and by any means. We all know the stories of feces and urine being put on believers being beaten to death and things like that. And in a lot of areas in this world, not just for Muslims but other people, that's happening right now. So we have to recognize that. But we have our own challenges, you know, whether it's picking up the phone too much for me sometimes. So sometimes I come home, I just put my phone away. Some people text me and I don't text back for a couple of days. Well, I'm spending time with my family. I'm spending time, you know, with the deen. So just be kind to yourself, forgive yourself, and have the resolve and you know, and Brother Omar talked to me about this early in our brotherhood about, you know, the difference between when you think, you know, a sin is accepted and when you know you're sinning. And that was really helpful for me to kind of create forgiveness for myself, which allowed me to continue to come to the Deen and really ask questions of those around me to see what struggles they've had. So if you're around some other Muslims, you know, just ask, hey, you know, let's say you're struggling with Salah al-Fajr, you know, or let's say you're struggling with being kind to your siblings, you know, or can you tell me a time when you struggled, how you got out of it, you know? So those kind of things have been really beneficial for me. So I encourage you to really, you know, apply this self-restraint and also, you know, be kind to yourself and forgive yourself. And when it comes to family, my family, I love my family. Alhamdulillah, I have the most amazing wife, the most amazing children. I'm so grateful. And even them, they at times can make life so exuberant and fun that I just can't believe the blessings of Allah. But there's always tough times. There's always tough patches, whether it's your kids are teething or maybe you haven't found a wife yet or you haven't found a husband yet. But when it comes to family, I think it's important to give your time. One of the biggest things now with everything we got devices, we're watching the Super Bowl right now. You just give your time to your family. Spend time at the masjid. Spend time with your friends. You know, you get a coffee, hang out, relax, and put the phone away. Nothing's worse than when you're hanging out with family and one of your family members pulls out the phone. Just put the phone away for a while. Engage people and call people out on it. I was sitting with my brother and my mom and dad just a couple of hours ago. My brother's younger than me, and my mom and dad were both on their phones. I said to my brother, hey, Sam, isn't that crazy? You know, we're these two young millennials, but we're the only ones not on our phone. And right away, my parents put down their phone, and we had a lively discussion about one of the books my young brother's reading. So when it comes to family, really be all in, really be present, and I think you'll find a lot of joy. And lastly, when it comes to football, I mean, we could talk forever on this topic alone. And when it comes to really whatever you want to do in life, always maintain belief in Allah and trust in Allah, right? And can keep the Deen around you no matter where you're at in your Deen. But when it comes to actually performing in the real world, you have to believe in yourself. Develop a skill. Develop a skill. Too often people, you know, oh, I went to college and I'm waiting for a job, or oh, I went to college and I don't know what I'm doing. Build a skill for yourself. Well, what did you earn a degree in college? Okay, finance, business, economics. Get a skill that helps you get a job, and if you really want to be successful, a career. There's a difference between a job and a career. You do a job for anywhere from 3 months to, you know, 3 years. You do a career for 30 years. So find a skill that gets you into a career and get used to doing things you don't like. You're watching the Super Bowl right now. Each one of these players on both teams, so that's 106 players. Each one of them had to practice for 2 weeks before they got to this game. Okay, you will have to do things you don't like. Get used to it. And the Quran tells us you may not like a thing and it is good for you, and you may like a thing and it is not good for you. Get used to doing things you don't like in life. And one of the ways they did that in football was, as a rookie, I had to make coffee every single day. I didn't even know how to make coffee when I got to the NFL, but I had to make coffee. Why? Because I had to get used to doing things I didn't like and making them a part of my day and a part of my success. You have to practice if you want to be great. You really have to practice. I do a lot of speaking now. I even practice speeches. I even practice when I'm going to encounter a new area or a new business. I practice the language they use, right? In finance, they have clients. In medicine, they have patients. You have to practice, right? And then get your sleep. When I was at the Pittsburgh Steelers, we had a doctor come out and talk to us about sleep. Sleep is the performance enhancer no matter what you do. What you do. And especially if you're waking up for Fajr, make sure you get your sleep. Go to bed early. Close off the blinds. Get some blue light blocker glasses. Really dedicate yourself to finding a good sleep practice so that you have time and cognitive skills. When you get adequate sleep between 8 and 12 hours, really 9 and 12, you have a 9% increase in your overall performance, a 20% increase in your cognitive performance, and you cannot give up those performance gains. So treat yourself right. But when it comes to your craft, your skill, what you want to do, build a skill, get used to doing things you don't want to do. And like I said, you just got to enjoy the process and really, really dedicate yourself to it. So Thank you so much for this time. Happy Super Bowl Sunday from your boy Ryan Harris, Super Bowl champion. Hey, when we make our prayers, may they go all the way up. When we get our compliments, may we take those compliments and send them all the way up to the Creator, the irresistible, the Most High. And when we have fun with our family and friends, let's take it all the way up. And when we set our goals, set them all the way up. Assalamu alaikum.
All right, Jazakallah khair, Ryan. MashaAllah, he's a man of many talents, so he's also becoming a serious motivational speaker. Yeah. I think he's going to replace me as a khatib soon. I could have replaced him on the Broncos offensive line, but I chose not to because I chose. But I could. No. I could have been a wide receiver.
Stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane.
You're good at what you do. Keep doing it. We need you. We love you for it. We don't need him in the past.
But there was that one layup that I made on you. Do you remember the layup? It's online.
A layup, a random layup. You know how it is. It's the shakes, and you just want to, hey, okay, you clap, and you're like, all right.
All right, but on a serious note, we want to thank you guys for joining in. Keep it halal. This is faith, family, and football. Make sure that you always put your faith first, and then your family, and then football or whatever it may be. And on that note, we want to actually shout out Colin Kaepernick for what he has done this year.
My brother.
To raise awareness, and actually started 2 years ago. Very proud of him and the stances that he has taken. And 20 years from now, inshallah, our kids are going to be talking about Colin Kaepernick in a legendary fashion. Obviously, he learned from Muhammad Ali, the great Ali. So we're very proud of him and his stance for justice. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Jazakallah khair to my brother Hussein and to Brother Ryan out there in Minnesota. Unfortunately, Hamza and Sheikh Mohammed Al-Shinawi were supposed to join us from Canada. We had a difficulty. They weren't able to join us. But Hamza has that book, Follow Me, where he talks about some of the real things.
Come Follow Me. And if you really want to know from a player's perspective, and then even also if you're dealing with mental health, or if someone in your family is dealing with mental health or any type of tough transition, check it out. Come Follow Me, written by Hamza Abdullah. So check it out.
And then you're working on the Sahaba.
Well, so we're working on the Ashab Network organization for Muslim athletes and entertainers. And inshallah it'll be coming soon. So
inshallah. So keep up with the Ashab Network and also follow Yaqeen Institute. And keep up with these great brothers who have set a great example for our youth, alhamdulillah. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum. Enjoy.